Hey guys, so for this video, I'm going to be ranking the best Fortnite player from each category. By that, I mean things like building, box fighting, and sniping. Now, before you comment saying that I ran out of ideas, don't, because you are right. The new season literally starts in 2 days, so I thought why not finish chapter 2 off with a good old rankings video. Anyways, before we start this one, try to keep in mind these are purely subjective and of my own opinion. If you agree or disagree with someone that I choose, then make sure you let me know in the comments why, but only do that after you've watched the entire thing and actually listen to my reasoning. With that being said, let's start with the best female Fortnite player in the world. In contrast to what many of you guys may think, there are actually a ton of amazing female players in the competitive scene. Some of the most notable are Tina Reyes, who won the TwitchCon LAN event, and Maddie Sun, who qualified for the Trio FNCS Grand Finals. To me though, the best female player is a 13-year-old girl from Sweden named Moki. Moki has placed top 20 in 2 different cash cups this season, top 100 in numerous other ones, and qualified for the squad FNCS semifinals in Europe. On top of that, her mechanics are among the best I've ever seen. Everything from her building to her aim is top tier, and if you think I'm only saying this because she's a girl, you could not be more wrong. It would not matter if she's a guy, a girl, or an alien with 5 heads, her gameplay speaks for itself. So for all you little 12-year-olds who never thought a girl could be better than them at Fortnite, unfortunately, I have some bad news for you. Seriously though, when you combine Moki's solid placements with her elite level box fighting and mechanics, it's hard to find any female Fortnite player that's better than her. Second category we're going to look at is another subgroup of Fortnite players that gets looked down upon a ton. That is, controller players. In the past, I've always said Unknown Army was the best controller player in the world. While I still do believe it deep down, I'm honestly sick and tired of bringing Unknown back up. That's why I'm going to change it up and go with the EU god, Lazarus Wolfies. Hailing from England, Wolfies is easily one of the scariest players in the world. He finished second at the Fortnite World Cup in duos, second in the Squad FNCS Grand Finals, and 4th in the Winter Royale. Additionally, he won 2 different solo cash cups, including one that he only played 5 games in. My favorite thing about Wolfies though is that he plays on linear. This means unlike legacy players, his mechanics are absurdly smooth and fast. Then the other thing I like about Wolfies is that the kid is so fun to watch in game. Whether he's playing for endgame and placement points, or taking a page out of Unknown's book and just W keying, I feel like I learned something new every time I tune into his stream. So as hard as it is for me to go against NA, Wolfies deserves the title of Best Controller Scrimma. Moving on to one of the most highly debated categories, and what I'm talking about is box fighting. Now, when I say box fighting, I mean in both real matches and in creative wagers. With that in mind, I believe the best box fighter is Misfits Clicks. Usually, this is where I list off his placements and talk about how good he is overall. However, this is only for box fights, which is kind of subjective. The only box fighting achievements I can think of are that Clicks won the recent UMG box fighting tournament, has gone over 100-0 numerous times in wagers, and has constantly bested top tier pros like Benji, Booga, Bucky, and Unknown. Oh, and let's not forget how much money he's yoinked off Zane season. That's gotta count for something. On to the more opinion-based reasonings, and Clicks really does have it all when it comes to box fights. His edits are quick, his builds are fast, his aim is usually good, and he has an extremely high box fighting IQ. So I know a lot of you guys might disagree with me on this because your friend Little Timmy 479 beat Clicks one time in a wager, but considering everything that box fighting entails, Clicks is number 1 in my book. Fourth category is definitely one of my favorite to rank, and that is the best aimer. This was actually a really hard one to choose because of how close my top 2 choices were. On one hand, you have Mongrel, whose aim looks like an aimbot, and on the other hand, you have Tfue, who is one of the most naturally gifted aimers in the world. Both of them grind Kovacs, both of them are on the top of the leaderboard for numerous games, and both of them do not miss shots. The reason I'm choosing Tfue though is that he has the edge over Mongrel in experience. Yes, I know that may sound stupid because nobody had better infantry aim than Mongrel did in Season X. I've seen the clips and I agree. The thing is, you can't overlook how ridiculous Tfue's aim was then and still is today. Simply because it's not hyped up as much does not mean it's not there. Plus, Tfue has had unbelievable aim for years. I'm talking all the way back in 2016 and 2017 during the H1Z1 era, when most of us didn't even know who he was. So as much as I love Mongrel, thank you for following me back on Twitter by the way, I'm sticking with my gut and saying Tfue has the better aim. Halfway through, and the only category that makes sense to look at next is Best Builder. Keep in mind, this includes creative, 1v1s, and free building. Therefore, my choice is FaZe Sway. Anyone who's watched Sway for more than 5 minutes can agree that not many other players are on his level. The man makes the hardest moves look easy and constantly turns simple plays into highlights. Sure, there might be crankers like Outcast Physics who have crazier retakes, or wager players like Plalism that could beat him in a 1v1, but purely building wise, Sway takes the cake. Easily the coolest thing about Sway's building to me is that he's on controller and not keyboard and mouse. Not that being on keyboard and mouse is easier for building per se, but let's be honest, none of us could ever build as fast and cleanly as Sway on controller. Every other top builder I can think of is on keyboard and mouse, so I think that says something about how far ahead Sway is, since he continues to amaze us on the sticks. So that's why I truly do believe Sway has been and still is the best builder in Fortnite. To finish off the trifecta of mechanics, the following category is gonna be the best editor. And by best, I mean the quickest and most accurate. With that in mind, I think the winner of this one, unlike seemingly every other category, is pretty straightforward. That is, the creative warrior, Raider464. Raider is without a doubt the fastest and most mesmerizing editor I've ever come across. He does stuff nobody else can, and with every passing video he uploads, he only gets quicker. Like, let's be real for a second, his pure editing speed is absurd. I remember when he first started posting videos, people constantly accused him of using macros because he was so dang fast. Even nowadays, people still accuse him of speeding up clips, when in reality, the man is just an absolute beast. He was one of the first players to use double edit binds on keyboard and mouse, and was one of the original creative players to truly push Fortnite's boundaries. That's not really something you can take lightly. I do think there are some close runners up like Serpent AU and Parallel Psycho, but nobody truly blows me away like Raider. So that's why he takes the crown as the fastest and best editor in the game. Next is the best IGL, or the smartest player in Fortnite. An IGL, by the way, just stands for in-game leader, which is the person who makes the decisions for your duo, trio, or squad. I can almost guarantee most of you guys are thinking this title belongs to Mr. Savage. This is because he's constantly pulling off insane outplays and utilizing 200 IQ tricks. However, when I say the smartest player, I'm more so referring to their game sense, rotations, and ability to lead a team. In that respect, there's no one smarter than NRG's Zate. Zate qualified for the World Cup in duos 3 different times, placed 4th at the World Cup Finals, 4th again in the Trio FNCS Grand Finals, and 4th a 3rd time in the Squad FNCS Grand Finals. Even more impressive though is that Zate led his squad to 3 first place finishes in the Chapter 2 qualifier weeks. That's like winning 3 solo cash cups, except much harder. So when you think about how consistent and dominant all of Zate's teams have been, keep in mind that's with him being the decision maker and telling them what to do. There's no one with more game sense than him. Second to last category, and maybe the most important one, is the best overall player in the game. This includes controller players, female players, keyboard and mouse players. It includes everyone. My pick for it has to be the god NRG Benji Fishy. Ever since Chapter 2 started, Benji has dominated in any and every competition he's played in. Some of the most notable ones were placing 2nd in the Squad FNCS Grand Finals, winning 2 solo cash cups, placing top 5 in 5 more, and 7th in the Winter Royale. Then internationally, he placed 11th at the DreamHack Winter LAN event, 13th at the Australian Open LAN event, and 4th in the Practice Server Elite Cup on over 100 ping. Those results are unparalleled in Fortnite, especially in Chapter 2. And if you're wondering how the heck he does it, the simple answer is that he has it all. His mechanics are cracked, his game sense is extraordinarily high, and his mindset is always positive. Whenever he's behind or did something stupid, he almost never lets it get to him and affect his performance. So I think we can all agree that Benji is the all-around best player in Fortnite. The final category is kind of a bonus one because it's a really niche one. What I'm talking about is the best sniper. I feel like sniping has kind of died down since the beginning of Fortnite. Maybe it's because competitive has become so big and sniping isn't really that big of a part in it. Either way, it's definitely not as popular as it once was. If I had to pick someone though, my choice would be be Kamikaze. Kamikaze is a content creator that hits some of the most ridiculous snipes I've ever seen. I'm talking about no scopes, quick scopes, 2 pieces, and 3 pieces. The dude has dropped numerous 30 bombs with only a sniper, and he even played a World Cup qualifier match with 3 snipers. So, at least in my opinion, Kamikaze is the bonus round winner and the best sniper in Fortnite. Overall guys, those are the best Fortnite players in every category in the game. Let me know down below who you think I should or shouldn't have included, as well as some other categories if I were to make another one of these in the future. Also, if you enjoyed the video, then do be sure to drop a like, subscribe to the channel, and to turn on my post notifications. Shout out to everyone using code Jarian. Remember, the new season is in 2 days, so use my code for the battle pass then, and I'll shout you out. Otherwise, that's it from me, and I will see you guys in the next one. Later.